Hi guys, it's Ginger. I have something different for you today. I have a review of my car, if you can believe that. It's not a new car. It's not an exceptionally old car. I have a 2007 Dodge Charger that I bought brand new. It actually only had 12 miles on it when I bought it. It had just come off of the transport the day that I bought it. So it was brand spanking new. The reason I'm doing this review is not to tell people not to buy Dodge vehicles, but I want to warn anybody who is buying a used Dodge vehicle. The problems that I've had with this car, some of them could be significant. They haven't turned into anything significant as of yet. But I've had a lot of minor problems. And this is with a car that it doesn't have a whole lot of miles on it. I don't travel a lot in this car. I've probably made a total of 3 long distance trips in the time that I've had this car, maybe 4. I think I went to Lafayette, Louisiana, and I went to Austin and back a couple of times. So, you know, and then, you know, the occasional trip into Houston, which is only about 50 miles away from where I live. But one of the first things that happened when the car was only 2 years old, and I'll show you the, I shot some video inside the car a few weeks ago, and this car only has, at the time I think it had like 75,600 miles on it, and the first thing that happened when it was about 2 years old, I think it was the switch went out on the air conditioner. There's been some more significant things that have happened. There is an issue with this particular vehicle from I think it's from 2006 to 2008 models of this car that have had problems with the drivetrain. And the issue is with the shifter getting stuck, either in park or getting stuck in drive, where you can't get it back into park. And I've had that issue, which luckily when it happened I was able to remedy it. But I know in the research that I've done, I've gone on various community pages and things like that and seen examples of other people having this same problem, and them not having a clue what to do and having to spend a lot of money to have their vehicle towed home. And what it is there is a piece of plastic, and you'll see it in the video that I shot inside the car. There's a piece of plastic that is next to the gear shift, and I'll show you how you can get to it. And it's a hot pink piece of plastic, and it's something that's so recognizable by all these people who've had problems with it that it's been dubbed the pink thingy. And if you go in there and you mess with that pink thingy, you can get the gear shift to work again. Now, luckily, I haven't had any problems with it lately, but about about 6 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago, I was having a lot of problems with it. I was also having problems with it not properly staying in park according to the little idiot lights on the console. So I would have it in park, but it would still show that it was in reverse. So the computer was not reading that it was in park. So I was so worried that it was going to start rolling while it was parked, like roll out of my driveway or roll in the parking lot somewhere and hit somebody else's car, that for a long time, every time I would park it, I'd put the emergency brake on just to be sure that the car wouldn't roll. I mean, it never did because I had the emergency brake on. Anyway, so I called Dodge. I called my local Dodge dealership, the place where I actually went, where I actually bought the vehicle, and had them do a check. And my 2007 Dodge Charger has never, with all the issues that I've had, it's never had a recall on it. Never. There has been a recall for this drivetrain issue, but it's not on all of the 2007s. It's only a recall based on the VIN number, and my VIN number did not fall into the recall. So even though I'm having this problem, and a lot of people are having this problem, a lot of people did not fall under the recall because their VIN number didn't fall under it. And I'm not sure, nobody was ever really able to tell me why a certain VIN numbers qualified and other VIN numbers didn't. I don't know if it's that they were manufactured at a certain place or what. Anyway, I filed an official complaint with I live in the state of Texas, so I filed a official complaint several months ago with the Texas Attorney General's office, which is where you go to file complaints when you have a consumer issue in the state of Texas, and it may be the same in other states, so you would have to contact your Attorney General in your particular state to file a complaint. And you can do it online. I did it online, and it said that I probably would never hear a response back from them, but that it was filed. There was a case number. I also filed, because in my research I noticed that a lot of people had filed complaints with the National Highway Safety Board. So I filed a complaint with them as well. And on their website I found a lot of other people had filed complaints about this same issue as well. And some people, poor things, were stuck and stranded and had to find a way to get their car towed and had to spend hundreds of dollars to have their cars towed. Luckily, that didn't happen to me. I did have issues. Like one time I was quite worried that I wasn't going to be able to get it in to drive when I was at work one day, but luckily my dad was able to help me because we at the time worked at the same place. The issues that I've had is with that drivetrain issue with the gear shift. I have had issues with the air conditioner switch going out. It went out when the car was 2 years old. Luckily it was still under warranty and I was able to get it fixed, but it's gone on the fritz again, and I'm no longer under warranty. It's an almost 7-year-old car, so it's not under warranty anymore, and I mean I can't afford to get stuff like that fixed. And God forbid that little pink thing should go out. It's not under recall for my car. My car isn't under warranty anymore, and I can't afford to spend $300 or $400 to get something fixed that really should not have been made out of plastic. Let's be honest. Also, about a year or so ago, my front speakers went out. So, and you'll also see some other things, some problems in general with the inside design of the car that I have, some things that I feel, considering the fact that this was almost a $26,000 vehicle. Now, granted, I did not get the Hemi, I didn't get the Mac Daddy wheels and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, I spent nearly $26,000 of my single person salary on this vehicle, And this is not the first new car I've ever had. And I haven't had a lot of new cars. This is only the second new car I've ever had in my, 25 years of driving, I guess it is. 24 years of having a driver's license. This is only the second new car that I've had. And it's extremely disappointing to me because I bought this car because, I mean, it's a beautiful car. I'll show you I'll put a picture of it in here. It's a beautifully designed car on the outside. It ran really well for the first few years, but these are the type of things that kind of make or break whether or not you're going to be a returning customer to a car company, I think. Okay, so here is the console and basically how you would be looking at it. If you look, all of the truly important dials are too far away for you to see directly, such as the fuel levels, which are right here, right there, and that right there, my friends, is the switch to set the cruise control. So it impedes the view of your fuel level, okay? And then over here is your temperature, okay? So you can't see what temperature it is, but you can see the RPMs, which I really don't give a crap about. And so this really could have stood to have been smaller, you know, in the speed thing, whatever. Now also, another problem that I have in terms of the design is this is an air vent, okay? Nobody bothered to screw it down. So after years of expanding and contracting from heat, because I live on the planet Earth and there are things like temperature changes, there you go. Takes very little effort. See? This is what was holding it in place. Okay? And it looks like whatever it was broke. And I just happened to find that out because it went flying across my dashboard one day. So they both, this one and that one down there, you can see it's protruding up too. They just kind of sit there on top. So the next problem that I have with this car is, this is a 2007. In 2009, which would have been 2 years old, the switches went out on the air conditioning. One day in the dead of summer, and had stopped at a bank, and when I came back out and started my car, the air conditioner wouldn't come on. And so luckily it was still under warranty because, again, it was only 2 years old. They replaced them. And now, probably about, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, the switch has gone out again. So it's not that it won't come on, it just comes on when it feels like it. For instance, this morning, it was in the high 40s. Here in Southeast Texas, and I thought my hands were going to fall off, and when I turned the heater on, nothing came out. So the switch is out again, and then of course this afternoon when I got in my car, it came on, but I took a short jaunt to pick something up, and then when I came back out to my car, it would not come on. Let's see if it comes on now. Nope. 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 That is on full blast, and normally you would be able to hear it at full blast. And nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So, the next major thing is, please excuse the garbage in the floorboard, is the shifter. Probably about a year or so ago, I had noticed that on occasion I would have problems with the shifter not wanting to go into park very easily or come out of park very easily. This. So one day last summer, I came out, I had finished work. It was hot as hell, like it usually is in Southeast Texas in the middle of summer, and went to start my car and couldn't get it out of park. It was so, I thought, because you see the crappiness with which this is made, you see you press that down and it moves. I thought maybe something had fallen down in it and gotten stuck. So my father, who happens to work at the same place, or used to work in the same place that I did, came out and helped me get it out of park. Well, then it kept happening every so often. And one day, my dad and I actually nearly took this whole area apart trying to figure out what was going on. And we pulled this part up right here. This is usually where I put my cell phone. You can pull this up and remove it. Let me see if I can get a shot. And on the inside, I don't know if you will be able to see it in this light. Yeah, you sort of can. You see the little pink object that's right there? We figured out that if you press that little pink object, it will help you put it into gear. So for the next 6 months, I spent with this, which is normally like this, turned like this so it wouldn't go all the way down, so that when I needed to press that little pink thing, it would work. I haven't had any problems with it lately, but I had lots of problems with it in the past, and found out that there was not, my VIN number did not fall under the recall. And I'll explain more. For that little pink thingy, which is what it is now called online because so many people have had problems with it, I'll tell you some of the stories. Luckily, I was never stuck or never had to have my car towed, luckily. The other problem I have had is, and there are no recalls on this vehicle. There's never been any recalls on my vehicle. I've checked every so often through the 7 years that I've owned this car. There've never been any recalls. The other problem that I've had is that when it rains outside and I stop at a stop sign, it wants to cut out. It doesn't do it all the time, but it does it some of the time. You never know when it might do it. And another problem that I have is somewhere I am losing oil, and nobody can figure out where. I've had a couple of different mechanics look at it, and nobody can figure out how it's losing oil. And look, I have 72,600 miles as of the time that I am recording this video. It's not what I consider high mileage for a car that's 7 years old. The previous new car that I owned was Nissan Sentra. It was a 1995. My parents bought it for me when I started college, and then eventually when I got done with college, I finished paying it off. But Nissan vehicles are built very, very well. That car, when I got rid of it, had over 200,000 miles. It burned oil. It leaked oil. It burned oil. So every week or so I would have to put more oil in it. But that thing clicked along like a champ. When I got rid of it, it was 12 years old and had 200,000 miles on it. And that Nissan Sentra, compared to this Dodge Charger, that Nissan Sentra was like a $13,000 car back in 1995, okay? $13,000, $14,000 car. I mean, even now, it's still, out of all the Nissans that you can get, that's like the budget car, okay? And compare the Nissan Sentra to the Dodge Charger, and I've had more problems with this car that has less than 80,000 miles on it and only 7 years old. And I know it's not a new car, but it's not a high mileage car either. That's the issue that I have. It costs twice as much, it's half as old, and I'm having more problems with a car that I had for 12 years that had over 200,000 miles on it by the time I was done. So, and as far as I know, because I actually gave my dad that car, and he drove it for a while when gas prices first started going up above, $3, when they started climbing $3 several years ago. And then, like almost 10 years ago. So he drove it for a while as like a car to drive during the week because he had a big old truck that just sucked up the gas, only got about 15 miles to the gallon. Then we sold it to one of my friend's nephews, and that was his first car, and he drove it until he left to go into the military. And then I think his girlfriend or fiance at the time drove it for a while because we would see it around town. And the thing looked like hell. It was maroon, and that particular 1995 in that particular color, I had seen other Nissans that had this weird paint peeling weird thing happen. So I always know when a Nissan is like a 1995 because it's got that weird paint thing happening to it that happened with my car. But as far as I know, that Nissan could still be out there hauling people about town, still clicking away after all these years, because that was a good car. This Charger, you know, it started doing all of these crazy things. And I've taken it to a mechanic. It loses oil for some reason, and they can't figure out where it's losing oil. I don't think it's burning the oil because I had a car that burned oil, so I know what a car smells like that burns oil. So I haven't been able to figure out where the oil is being lost. I know it's not evaporating. And you know, it, like, all of the idiot lights came on, and like probably about 8 months ago, all the lights came on, and like the damn thing wanted to shut down and was acting all chuggy and everything. And we took it to the mechanic, and according to the book, it needed a tune-up. But the mechanic that we took it to said, no, this early in the game, at this mileage, you don't need a full tune-up. So they did what they did some stuff to it and changed filters and cleaned stuff up and all that kind of fun stuff, and it works fine now. And luckily I haven't had any problems lately with that drivetrain, but I'm going to show you in the video where this pink thingy is located, so that if you have a vehicle that is similar to age, the Dodge Charger, that's similar in year that I have, right around in that same 2007, 8, 9 area, from the research that I've seen, that's when it happened. so that you know how to get to this, because so that's everything. I hope that some of that was informative for you. Hopefully Dodge has since fixed this problem. I don't know exactly why they would make an integral part of the drivetrain plastic, something that is constantly being jerked back and forth, made out of plastic, because when it breaks, it's broken. And from what I understand, it's going to cost like $3 or $4, somewhere in the range of $350 to $400 to have that fixed. So all in all, my overall review of this car, I've had it for 7 years. So I think I've driven it enough and had enough experience with it to give you a clear opinion of how I feel about it. I'm going to continue driving it until I can't drive it any longer. It's paid off. I can't personally afford to go and buy another vehicle. So I'm going to drive it till I can't drive it anymore, till it starts costing me more money than what is, what is justifiable. So, but in the end, I don't think I would buy another Dodge car. Now, I've heard that the Dodge trucks are really, really, really great. But for some reason, Dodge has problems with their cars. So, they're better at making trucks, from what I understand, from what I've gathered, and they're not great at making cars, from what I've gathered. So, I would not repurchase a Dodge car. Probably the next vehicle I get, which hopefully will be, 5 or 6 more years from now, hopefully, fingers crossed, God willing, and if the creek don't rise, I'll have it for 5 or 6 more years. And my personal opinion, the next vehicle I'm going to get is going to be a Nissan, because I've had a Nissan in the past, and they are excellently put together vehicles. They are really, you get your money's worth out of it. I don't feel like I've gotten my money's worth from this, because it's just had too many little things happen, and then this drivetrain thing, it's a pretty big deal. Luckily, I haven't had the problems with it that other people have had. So, in the end, would not purchase this vehicle again. It's a beautiful looking vehicle on the outside, but let's be honest, it's about whether or not it's going to get you from point A to point B without leaving you stranded on the side of the road. So I hope that this helped you a lot. This is my honest opinion about the vehicle that I own, that I've been driving for 7 years. And I hope that anything that you can get out of this video will help you if you're having any similar problems. And that's the main reason why I made this video. I'm disappointed in the product that I purchased with my hard-earned money, and but I'm stuck with it now, so there's not much I can do about it, and I'm going to keep it until the wheels fall off, I guess. So thank you for checking out this video. I know it's kind of long. I hope it's helpful. I hope you'll come back and visit my channel. I don't typically have auto reviews on my channel. It's usually music and makeup and stuff like that. But I hope it's helpful. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.